Yo, what's going on, guys? This is teMpeRRR, and I wanted to talk about conquering your fears and what that really means. So basically, if you want to get anywhere in life, you have to conquer your fears. You know, if you want to achieve your dreams, there are clearly obstacles that you have to face in order to achieve those dreams and to get where you want to in life. But the number one thing you really have to have is a disciplined attitude. You have to develop self-discipline and have this certain attitude of just self-discipline in order to achieve all the things that you want to achieve and to conquer all your fears. I'll give you an example. I used to be the shyest kid ever, like absolutely shy. Like my middle school, high school, throughout most of high school, I was really a shy kid. I always kept to myself, minded my own, and that was never like really me. Like okay, one thing that you really got to develop too is thinking for yourself. And like I was always shy throughout my school years until I started thinking for myself around when I was about 16, and then like I started realizing who I was and realizing that like I'm nowhere near where I want to be as a person, as in terms of physically, mentally, spiritually. Like I'm still not even close to where I want to be. Like I'm nowhere even close. Like some of you might look at me like I've done a lot for only being like 20 years old. I look at it as like I haven't done nearly as much as I should be doing. Like I want to be more productive each day, and you just gotta like have that self-disciplined attitude in terms of doing all the things that you want to do and achieving all the things that you want to achieve. So you're gonna face a lot of uncomfortable situations, but those situations are the ones that you really need to face, because there's this great quote. I love this quote. It's you gotta get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And I'm always trying to put myself in situations that I'm not used to, because those situations are the experiences that are gonna grow me the most. I'm gonna benefit the most out of those situations, because I'm gonna, alright, you might look at it like this. You might look at this uncomfortable situation, you're gonna be like, damn, I'm probably gonna fail. Whereas I look at the situation as like, I'm gonna try to do this. Hopefully I don't fail. Hopefully I gain something from it, and I really try to have like an optimistic outlook towards it as I go in. But even if I fail, I still learn from it. And the second time around coming to an experience like that, I'm a lot more prepared for it. I'm probably not going to fail because I really learned what I need to do, and I learned from my mistakes, and that's something that you really have to develop in terms of an attitude. That self-discipline, that's the number one. So you got to conquer your fears, and you can conquer your fears in any way, shape, or form. Like for example, if you want to talk to a girl that you're scared to talk to because you're shy, and it's a girl that you really like, that you're really attracted to, you know, that's one example. Another example is, I'll give you an example that I recently, this wasn't actually recently, this is I think a few weeks ago. So I live in New England, where it's really cold now because it's winter, around like 14 degrees during the day, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's pretty cold. And I decided that I want to, just to test myself, my mental strength, I wanted to take a shower in cold water. So put the cold water in, and I was like, because this is my shower head, it was going down this way, I'm just like, alright, let's do it. Just start showering and like shampooing my hair, putting soap on my body. I was just like, ah. But I did it, you know, like, and as I was doing it, it started getting easier, because once you get into that, once you get into that position and you start, when you have that momentum, it gets easier, because then you're just like, alright, it's not that bad, like it's not that bad. And then it just, the more you put yourself in those situations, the more comfortable you are with putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, because you know that you can deal with it because you've dealt with it before. So just trust me when I say this. If there's like, okay, actually let me change the topic real quick. Had a little brain fart. But if there's a girl that you want to talk to and you feel as though you cannot attract that girl because of your current state, like maybe it's physical, maybe it's mental, you know, maybe you're really shy and you don't want to talk to her and you're just not confident enough to talk to her. And then you gotta start working on yourself. Like, look at the people that you idolize, like what they look like, how they act. Really study those people, get in their heads. Like, how do they work? Like, how do they function? How do they tick? And what's their motivation every day? What do they look forward to? And you basically want to take the people that you idolize and get all the best qualities that you think is their best qualities from them, and really start developing those habits and becoming that person. So basically, the people that you idolize are the people that you are eventually going to be like all together. You know, if you idolize only one person, then you're most likely going to be like that person. And if you idolize, I don't know, 10 people, 20 people, then you're going to develop like traits from all those people at once, and that's going to be who you are. And that's what's cool about life, is everyone's different. You know, you always put in your mix of things into all the traits that you pull in from other people that you respect, or people that you fear, depending on whether you're weak or not. Because some people go through life and some things happen to them, you know, earlier in their childhood where it was something really bad, maybe like some example of bullying, and as they get older, if they like naturally get bigger and they like hated that bullying, maybe they also bullied other people, or maybe they completely learned from that and they went the opposite way and they just were all against bullying and started doing positive things for, you know, against violence and bullying, anything like that. But back to the main topic, conquering your fears. That is the number one. And I'm going to give you an example of, you know, like I told you, throughout most of high school and all of middle school, I was always a shy kid. I think in high school I was more shy than I was in middle school. And I always kept to myself more. Like, I hung out with the wrong crowd in both middle school, mainly high school. I hung out with the wrong crowd, and they weren't a good influence on my life because I was just skipping school or whatever, but like that ended up shaping the person that I am today. I still feel as though I would have taken the same path even if I wasn't friends with those kids. Maybe I just would have been like more shy, because if I just kept to myself completely, you know, I definitely would have been more shy. So, you know, all experiences in your life has its benefits and its losses, but you learn from everything. That's the awesome thing about life. So after that, when I started thinking for myself, I think I was around 16, and I started really like realizing like every action I take is gonna either benefit me or not. Well, technically anything will benefit you. Everything that happens benefits you, because there's always something to learn from. So I really had that attitude. Excuse me. I really had that attitude, and I really started developing self-discipline. And then I started growing. I think around 18 I did a lot of growing. 19 I also did a really lot of growing. And 20 I'm doing the most growing I've ever done. And I'm making sure that every year forward, it's like I'm constantly growing just more and more, like faster and faster, like the rate. Like, one thing that I've come to realize over the years is that like all these problems that I had in the past are such little things that, like, alright, say these are my problems before in the past, these are my problems now. No, sorry, these are my problems in the past, then like last year these are my problems, and then like this year these are my problems. If there's one thing that I've learned for certain, is that those problems in the past, eventually these problems that I have now are going to be just like the problems that I had in the past, like in terms of like how big they are, because you can simplify anything. Like, simplicity is like the most beautiful thing, because you can put in the most amount of time in something, the most amount of effort in the shortest amount of time. As long as you keep it simple, then you're going to get the full benefit from it, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Anyways, so I used to be really shy, and then I started growing myself, you know what I mean? I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. How can I change that? So, you know, I started working out, started doing Muay Thai, working out to, you know, get a better body, and then doing Muay Thai so I can be more confident in myself. Muay Thai helped me be more confident in myself because now I know how to defend myself, and it's like one of those things that I recommend like everyone to do. If I mean, if you don't like fighting, that's one thing. I mean, I don't necessarily like. No, actually, I enjoy fighting. It's just like I never did before, but I always had that like fear of like, damn, like what happens if I like get in a fight, like, and I don't know how to fight, you know what I mean? So I took myself to do Muay Thai, and now I know how to kickbox. Still learning every day, but everything that I do, you know, working out, doing Muay Thai, playing basketball, playing Call of Duty, leading phase, like everything I do, I want to put 110%. I put 110% in just to get the full benefit from it, because you have one life to live, right? And you have no idea when you're gonna die. I could die tomorrow. I could die today, tonight. You know, like, you have no idea when you're gonna die. So why not maximize your efforts in your life to get the most from it? So then maybe you're lucky enough to be like 70 and 80 or 80, and then you look back at your life and you're like, wow, like I had such good times. Like I always put in 110%. Really learned from, like, it really grew me to the person I am today. And then the person you are today, maybe you're like 30, 35 and you start having kids, and then by that time that you really grew yourself and you're like 35, like you're someone that your kid can really idolize. And you know, that's just the way I look at it. But conquering your fear, it's all about your attitude. Like you have to have that self-discipline, and you got to tell yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna give one example of one time recently where I conquered my fear. And this was a few months back, I think, a couple months back, when I went to Formula One, the Formula One races in Austin, Texas. I went with Hilton. He was former FaZe Hilton, if you guys know him. He invited me there. I went, and his dad got box. He rented out a whole box. So you know, you have the stand seats, and then you have the box, which is like high up, and there's like a bartender there, like, and you can feel like a lot of people in there, just all chilling. So the second day that I was there, it was a Saturday. There were all these girls that showed up. I think it was like 6 or 7 girls, and they were like 26, 27-year-olds. And they're all like, you know, pretty good looking, except like one of them I found really attractive, and I just like, I couldn't like stop looking at her. Not necessarily I couldn't stop looking at her, but like I found her really attractive, and I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to tell her like she was gorgeous, because I found her, I thought she was gorgeous, and I just wanted to start a conversation with her. So I remember like thinking to myself, I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell her like she's gorgeous. And then she was probably like 15 feet away from me, like facing that way, and I'm like going up to go tell her, and then I like kind of stopped myself. I'm like, because I've never done this before. I'm 20 years old, she's 27, you know, it's just one of those times. So when I stopped myself, I'm like thinking like, oh, I don't know if I want to, and then I caught myself thinking that, and I was just like, if I don't do this, I'm a pussy. Tommy, I was like, Tommy, if you don't do this, you're a pussy. So as soon as I told myself that in my head, I was just like, I walked to her and I introduced myself. She introduced herself. I told her she was gorgeous, and she was like, oh, thank you. And then we had like a 3 to 4 minute conversation, and it was a good conversation, solid conversation. Then the next day, I get there, and then she gets there with her friends or whatever, and like during that whole day, beforehand, not the next day, I realized like after I talked to her, like from her physiology and the way she talked to her friends, like she seemed like she was kind of stuck up, and normally I'm good at taking guesses and how people are, so she seemed like she was kind of stuck up, so it kind of made her less attractive. So the next day I get there, and then she gets there, and I wasn't like that interested in like talking to her again, unless she came up to me and said something, then you know, we can start another conversation. But I didn't care enough to go talk to her myself. But like I was doing my own thing, and I remember like seeing from my peripheral, I could see her like looking at me. Like in my head, I was thinking that she was probably thinking like, why isn't he like trying to talk to me? Like she probably saw me as like a sweetheart because I just, you know, like who goes up to a girl and just tells her she's gorgeous and then like starts talking and whatever. You know what I mean? Like if someone went up to you and told you you're handsome and it was like a pretty good looking girl or something like that, you'd be like, okay, you would definitely like that girl more if she's good looking. Like right away you'd be like, okay, so she opened herself up to me, like she complimented me, that's nice. You know, everyone likes getting compliments from an opposite gender who's attractive. So that's basically my story. Conquering your fears can help you with anything in life and everything, and I really challenge you to conquer your fears with everything that you do. Anything that you normally find yourself like uncomfortable in, like you don't really want to do this, but you know if you do it the right way, it's going to help you achieve your dreams in a certain way or whatever. Seriously, put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, deal with the outcome, and just have a winning attitude. Like if you play sports, or if you're just, you know, if you play sports and you love to win, then you're really competitive. Or if you're really competitive, just like playing Call of Duty, you know, you have that competitive mindset, you want to win. So view fear as your opponent. Like don't ever let that shit defeat you, you know what I mean? Like it's just fear, it's all mental. It's all a mental game. So I hope you guys learned something from this commentary. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, helps out a lot, and let me know in the comments below what you thought. Also, what you would like for me to talk about next. That's basically it. Space Temper, and I'm out.